In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to recreate this beautiful shot from Dune Part 2. And the cool thing is, you don't need any special equipment, just a few basic camera items to make this happen. We're going to recreate this camera move and you're going to be impressed with what you can do with a little. Let's do it. In 1993, in a theater in Texas, I saw Jurassic Park. And I didn't know it then, but that was going to change my life. I fell in love with movies and I started making movies years later. But at some point, I started getting really intimidated. I would watch movies behind the scenes and I would think, I don't have any of that equipment and I can't afford it. I would see the end of a movie and there's thousands of names in the credits. Well, it's obvious why they can make a movie like Pirates of the Caribbean or Avengers. It's because they have so many people and such a huge budget. But as I persisted, I started realizing there's actually a lot that I can do with the equipment that I have. And this is going to be one of those things. We're going to recreate this shot, and my hope is that you will be less intimidated. I used to be intimidated, and then I got over it because I kept doing stuff and I kept experimenting. And what I find is a lot of these filmmakers are actually doing the same thing. They're just solving problems. And so I'm going to teach you today how I solved this problem of recreating this shot from Dune. Let's take a look at the shot. It's got two movements happening in the camera. One of them is this up and down movement, which is called a boom or a jib. And you would use a crane. For a shot like that one in Dune, there's a huge crane that's making this camera move happen. And the other movement is called a tilt. This is just the camera leaning forward or leaning backward. They're both tilts. And so they're keeping Paul and Chani in the same spot. So there's a very clear correlation between the subject and the background. And because the background is in focus, it's kind of the subject. That's what they're talking about. They cut to this shot in the movie at the exact moment that Paul says, where you see sand, imagine water. And he's talking about his home planet, Caladan. And so there's this contrast that's created between the waves in the sand and the waves in the ocean. It's beautiful, beautiful shot. Beautiful imagery, and the camera movement is very intentional. It's not flashy, it's not attracting attention to itself, but it's serving the shot. And this kind of camera movement, when it's slow and methodical, adds a lot of depth and gravitas to what you're filming. I want to pause for just a second and give a really quick shout out to the very unofficial sponsors of today's video. They didn't know they were getting sponsored today. One is Uberleben. This is, I'm probably saying it wrong, but this is a company I found on Instagram a few years ago. They make fire starters as well as some other camping items, but this is my favorite mug that I own. I used to collect mugs, but now I just have one that I've collected. This has been all over the world with me, the UK, Africa, all over the US, Hawaii, and I just love it. It's a hardwood mug and it's amazing. Check them out, Uberleben, and the other one is Cafe Cocina. This is a local coffee company making specialty coffee out of Poulsbo, Washington. Go get some of their coffee. It is so good. Yeah, so neither of them knew that they were going to be featured on this video, but surprise. This is my shot that I created about 8 months ago, and we're actually going to recreate it again today. This is a very small version of that. We don't need a jib. We don't really need the desert or actors. This is more of a product shot, but it's something very tangible, and it has a whole lot of depth to that image. What you need to make this, I shot that shot that you just saw without a gimbal, without any stabilization. My camera actually has internal stabilization, but I turned it off. All I used was a camera, a tripod, and a steady hand, and that's all you need. I will say, like, you do need a tripod where you can remove one of the legs. I feel like most of them you can. Some of the cheaper ones invest in a good tripod. If you only ever want to set a camera still and never move it, you can use anything you want. You can get a cheap tripod. But as soon as you want to move it, what matters then is the weight of the tripod. So a heavier tripod is better, and the what's called the head, the device that attaches your camera to the legs. You want a fluid head, some sort of fluid system in there. Spend some money on it. And my tripod is a bit older Manfrotto tripod. I spent $600 on it and I love it. Here's how we're gonna do this. You're going to pick a subject and a location, and you want a good distance between them. Before you even start playing with the camera moves, you want to establish your depth of field. I did that in this shot. I didn't want too much bokeh. I didn't want the bokeh, the glowy bits, to be too large, so I was very careful in selecting how much I opened up my aperture. So you're going to take off one of the legs of your tripod, and you're going to make it a bipod, and you're going to lay it down. You want to make sure the feet of those legs can't move. And you want to draw a straight line between the legs and your subject. It should be directly in between them. Your legs can't be any farther forward or backward or any higher or lower than your subject. So if you're on a flat surface, it'll help. It was kind of difficult on that mossy hill there. So then you want to point your camera down at your subject, and again, you want this straight line there. And then you do want to play with your depth of field, opening and closing your aperture to get the exact shot that you want. And then you're going to pick up the camera, you're going to pick up the tripod, and you're just going to move it carefully and methodically, and be very mindful of if the feet of your tripod shift a little bit, you're going to see it. If your hand adjusts a little bit, you're going to see it. So you want to do numerous test shots. And that's it. So I'm actually going to go in the woods and recreate that right now, and you can see the process. But before then, if you would like to subscribe to this channel, I would love that. I'm going to put more tutorials on here and have more helpful information for you if you want to expand your camera knowledge and your camera ability. Then I want to be a resource to you.
And here we are in the woods. I've got my wife helping out. She's going to be pouring coffee for this shot. It's a coffee-themed shot on the little bridge right behind our house. And we've done several takes. This will be the last take, and as I'm lowering the camera right here, this is the final shot that we'll use.
Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope this was helpful to you, and leave a comment down below. What camera shots would you like me to recreate? Is there any shot in a movie that you want me to take a look at and see if I can recreate and make a practical way for you to do that yourself? Thank you so much. You can do this. Bye.